Hey friends, welcome to this Ohio Farmhouse. I'm Jenna. If you're new here, you might not know this, but a lot of you know that we are very into natural health and natural ways of healing our bodies without relying on conventional medicine. Now, we will turn there when it's completely necessary, but we have gone a long spell without needing anything in addition to all of our natural remedies, because I'm really starting to get a really good handle on what works and when to use certain things.
We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
So just recently we had a boy in our homeschool group who ended up getting a migraine in the middle of the day, and it's a pretty regular thing that he's coming down with these migraines, and she didn't have her typical medicine with her that she gives to him. So I pulled out a bottle of homeopathy and I was able to give him something that helped him get back up on his feet in about a half an hour's time, and he was back in class and doing everything with all of the kids again. Okay, so since that went down at the homeschool group, it's kind of sparked a lot of conversation about what is homeopathy? What is that you're giving him? How does that even work? It doesn't make sense. And so I've been explaining little bits and pieces here and there, but I thought I would like to jump on and kind of give a little bit more detail into what homeopathy even is, why it works, and all the different ways that we're actually using it here in our farmhouse. When you get the right remedy, homeopathy can be a really effective method for treating all kinds of different ailments. So this all really dates back to this German scientist who heard through the grapevine that Peruvian bark was able to treat and heal malaria. So he got his hands on some and he took it internally. And what happened was that he started developing the symptoms that are associated with malaria himself, even though he didn't have it himself. So it sparked some curiosity and some interest, and that is when they started believing that like cures like. So the word homeopathy actually roots back to the Greek word which means like heals like. And so what that means is that if you take a little bit in very small doses of the actual sickness or symptom that you're dealing with and you put that into your body, it can eliminate those symptoms that you're dealing with. And so they started testing this out, and it came to be very factual and true, and they were seeing great success in healing all kinds of different ailments. So all of these things are derived through different materials. So it either comes from a plant, an animal, or a mineral. And they actually put it through this process of creating a mother tincture. Now, you may or may not have heard of a tincture, but oftentimes these are used in natural healing. They come in like a bottle usually, and it's a dropper, and oftentimes you'll put them on your tongue or under your tongue, and it will go into your bloodstream and start to treat very quickly. So what they do is they take those materials and they're actually starting to make a mother tincture. Then from that, they start diluting it and diluting it down, and then it creates a remedy that you and I can use. So you would think that the more that you dilute something, the less potent that it becomes. But because of the theory of like treats like, that's the opposite with homeopathy. So the more that you dilute it with homeopathy, the more potent that it actually becomes. So you can actually go to school to become a homeopath, and it requires quite a lot of training. I've actually looked into it myself because I kind of feel like this would be this beautiful dream job where you get to consult with people and help them be well. But it is an awful lot of schooling. So maybe far down the road, that will be something that I look into doing. But for now, I am just utilizing the knowledge and the skills that are learned by all of these amazing homeopaths. So most of the homeopaths believe that there is not only a physical connection to your health, but also mental, and that both the mental and the physical come together and create this storm of an ailment. And so when you're treating something, what they have to do is start questioning all of the different symptoms that you're having, and not just a physical symptom such as my kid has a fever, but along with that, what is their behavior like and how are they feeling? Are they feeling anxious? Are they feeling nervous? Are they very lethargic? Are they laying around and depressed? So there's all different kinds of questions that you start asking that accompany the symptoms that you can physically and visibly see in front of you. Now, because homeopathy is diluted so far, it is traditionally known to not have any symptoms associated with it. So if you have some kind of medicine that you buy over the counter, there's a whole list of side effects that might come along with that. Homeopathy doesn't necessarily work that way. There's a very small chance that you could react negatively, but I would say that it's very, very rare. With that being said, you also can't necessarily overdose on taking homeopathy. One pellet that you take, so I will show you, most of them come in these little containers like this. Some of them, just depending on the brand that you get, some of them are in a little bit bigger. But I will show you quick the difference in the pellets. Now, you're not technically supposed to touch these. You would put them into, oh, that one's not opened yet. You would put it into the cap and then take it that way. But I don't even know if you can see quite how small these are. So the little balls that are right here come out of the boron, and then Highlands makes the other one that is more like a little pellet disc. These dissolve a little bit faster, the Highlands does. So basically what you do is you take this teeny tiny pellet and you put it under your tongue and you suck on it. So it tastes very sweet, actually. It's almost like a little sugar pill. So the kids do not complain about taking them ever because it's just a sweet little thing. It goes under their tongue and it dissolves really quickly. Now, if you get the right remedy, things start to turn around very fast. I have given them to my husband, who has had severe sinus issues going on where he just couldn't get a breath of air. I mean, he's just all stuffy and stopped up and sinus headache and pain and pressure, and he was absolutely miserable. I gave him one little tiny pellet under his tongue, and within 5 minutes his sinuses cleared and he felt incredible. And he looked at me and he's like, what in the world did you just give me? But whatever it is, keep it coming because that was awesome. Now, sometimes you only have to take one dose of something and it takes care of it completely. It's absolutely incredible to me. Other times you're going to want to take it like every 15 minutes and see if you're getting any symptom or relief. If you're not, it's likely that you don't have the correct remedy. It's just like lots of other medicine. Sometimes you have to play around with it a little bit to find the correct one. And a lot of that has to do with the things that I was talking about before, the mental ailments that go along with the physical ones. So you kind of have to play and figure that out. Now, you can work with a homeopath and it's an incredible experience. They're available through Facebook. Oftentimes they'll advertise through there, or you can look them up on different websites where it has like a whole listing of them that you can do a search based on your location. So you could go and meet with a homeopath, and they will typically spend probably an hour and a half to 2 hours for your first appointment, just going over your past history, the things that have been there for a long time versus the acute symptoms that are more current that you're dealing with. And so they're very in tune with all of the things that homeopathy can do and how they have been successful or not in the past. Now, if you don't want to go that route or you don't have the money to do that, there are Facebook groups online where you can gain incredible insight and knowledge from just reading the other posts that people put up. In the comments down below, I'll actually list a couple of my favorite groups to be a part of. Some of them have live homeopaths that are on there, and they'll actually serve by answering your questions. You can get on and say, hey, I've got a kid that's got this nasty rash. They're tired, they're not acting like themselves, what's going on, what can I try? And they will give you advice. So even if you don't reach out to an actual homeopath, you can reach out to this whole group of other women, moms that are probably just like you, trying to figure this all out themselves. And they'll ask each other for advice, and you can kind of go through the comments then when you ask questions and gain incredible knowledge. I have learned almost everything about homeopathy just through reading through these other incredibly knowledgeable people on Facebook. It's really one of the main reasons why I have Facebook is so that I can learn from these other people. So homeopathy can be used for acute things where it's, your kid has a cold, or you find yourself, you're really moody, or you have hormonal things going on all of a sudden. I cannot even tell you how many things we have tried homeopathy for and really seen great relief in. And so some of those things that we use them often for, bee stings or any kind of sting or bug bite for that matter. I have homeopathy comes not only in the pellets, but they have ointments and lotions and things that you can pick up. So arnica we use often. This prevents bruising and swelling. This is really like your kid falls down, nails their head, or they bump their elbow or whatever. Arnica reduces the pain and inflammation almost instantly. We use this oftentimes for growing pains on our kids' legs if they're getting pretty antsy at night or uncomfortable. Sometimes we'll throw some arnica on them. This is a well-loved one in my house. This is called Sting Stop. So we will put this on if we are stung or get bug bites. This is has ledum in it, and ledum is the constituent that will help with those things. I also have apis, which is derived directly from bees, and so you can take that if you get a bee sting and it will relieve that pain. It's very, very quick, and having beehives ourselves, it's very helpful because just a couple of weeks ago I got multiple stings because I decided to be a little bit overly ambitious when I went out to bees. But we use them for colds, for flu, for anxiety, for stress, for hormones, for calming down a child. Last night I had one in particular, the toddler who was not wanting to go to bed, so he got a pellet of chamomile to help him calm down. We've also used it quite a lot for allergies or motion sickness. So all of these are just kind of like common problems that, especially when you have kids, you're dealing with all of these things regularly. And so homeopathy is a great thing to have on hand. They're really small. I just throw them in my purse, which I started taking far too many with me. So now I have a little case where they're kind of organized and I can find the one, because I was pulling them out by the dozens, I felt like, before I found the one that I always needed. So now I have a little case that is very, very helpful. But there's homeopathy available for things like nerve pain and damage that you could have done, for helping you after you recover from surgery. I mean, the list is seriously endless. And those are all of the more acute things. It also is really effective sometimes at helping with the symptoms associated with really big problems. A lot of people will use it for relieving symptoms from things like cancer or autoimmune disorders. So it has the ability to heal really big things and also really small things. Now, obviously, if you have something really serious, do not try to treat the entire thing just using homeopathy. It's really to relieve the symptoms associated with those things. So just for example, if you have like watery, itchy eyes and a runny nose, they will give you, there's a pellet that's actually derived from an onion because it causes the watery eyes and the running nose. And so you're treating like with like. And so it's more of a symptom remedy than it is like solving the end all of major problems. Now, it will help you to get over colds and flu much more quickly. I am convinced that I have taken these remedies and it has knocked it out. So what homeopathy is doing is training your body. It teaches your body to respond in a specific way. And so rather than you give it medicine and it's trying to do its thing, it sends a message that your body needs to react in a specific way to heal itself. It's really a phenomenal thing, and we have seen so much relief from all kinds of different ailments just from implementing homeopathy into our own family. Now, I also am a big believer in essential oils, and if you are one of those people, you don't want to intermix the two. And so if I need to take a homeopathy, for instance, if I've got a really bad cold, I am a huge believer in Breathe essential oils, in eucalyptus, in On Guard, all of the things that go in my diffuser. But to actually put it on your body or ingest an oil, you don't want to do that within 15 minutes of taking your homeopathy because they can kind of cancel each other out. So you want to give a little bit of break in between those two. So oftentimes I'll take the homeopathy, get that working, and then I'll wait a little while, and then I will rub the oils on my chest or on my feet before I am going to bed. Now the combination of those two are killer and will knock almost anything out. So that just gives you a really quick rundown of what homeopathy is, why it works, and how we're using it in our own family. So I hope that you guys will give it a try. They're oftentimes available at your health food stores, and they will have a whole display that it will have them all laid out, and it will kind of give you the most common use for that specific remedy. Like I just picked one up here. This is Arsenicum album. And this says that it relieves symptoms of food poisoning. Now, that's not the only thing it does. This is also really great for treating the flu or other things that might be in that category. So it's not just what is listed on here. There's oftentimes an entire list of things that can be helped by just that one remedy. So I've been slowly building up my collection of them so that I have them on hand, because it's really frustrating when I go to treat something and I don't have that particular one. Luckily, about 10 minutes from here, there is a health food store that carries lots of them, but they don't have oftentimes the higher dosages of them. But then you're kind of stuck getting the lower dilution amount of them, and so it's not quite as effective as what it could be. Most of the time, those are completely fine and they work, but if you have something really serious or the homeopathy you're using doesn't seem to be doing anything, you may want to try going up to more like a 200, and that will give you something a little bit more potent to work with. So I hope that this has been informative for you. I will see you next time on This Ohio Farmhouse.
You and I can weather any storm.